seem like they do not care. They got deaf to the people's cry. Only flying out on first class while the poor and the humble die. I hear money missing from our treasury. Oh my dear, I start wondering if something wrong with my ear. I need a doctor to come and check my ear, because I hearing strange things, things I don't like to hear. I need a doctor, Lord, I am so confused. With all this ringing, 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 I don't like bad news. I need a doctor, I'm feeling the blues. With all the water in K and they still looking for truth.
Dear the Lord, dear the Lord.
Big Lois, if you walk out running well, you'll have done bad. I hear the airport flooding out soon as a little rain fall. Taxpayers' money vanishing like the face in a crystal ball. I hear they're selling out the country to foreign entities, not because they have power, they can do as they please. That beautiful place called Port Zante, we can't find a public loo. As it assumes we must demand, this nonsense must not continue. SIDF funds missing like a mystery game. Who is accountable? Tell me, it's a crying shame. I need a doctor, Lord, to come and check me here, because I hear strange things, things I don't like to hear. I need a doctor, I am so confused. With all this ringing, 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 I don't like bad news. I need a doctor, I'm feeling the blues. It's the people who vote for them say labor is the problem. Chocolate? I need some chocolate. Anybody have chocolate? Baby, don't buy. I'm only hearing bad news in my ears, oh Lord. Like this whole nation up on struck a bad care. Scandal after scandal, we are living in fear. We keep crying out, but nobody care. No electricity and no water, but we still have to pay that rent. 600 houses they promise us, up to now blocks can't touch cement. If there is good news, shout it loud and clear, or take me by Timothy, let him fix me here. I need a doctor to come and check me ears, because I hearing strange things, things I don't like to hear. I need a doctor, Lord, I am so confused. With all this ringing, 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 I don't like bad news. I need a doctor, I'm feeling the blues. Pay double salary, make the people happy. That's for me. Green tea. Oh yeah, yo. I took a walk outside, is then I hear a voice say, we have to do better, we have to kneel and pray. Say I pray for Janelica, who was taken away. I pray for our country to see a brighter day. Let us pray for children to be an asset to this land. Leaders must lead with transparency, not a whole bag of corruption. Then our country will progress in every way. Come on, citizens, Hey, you Brown, calling on you. Hey, you Brown, for the doctor.
Yes, my good people, good afternoon, good evening. I'm DJ Mauritia coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. And as promised on Wednesday evening, we have a special feature, one we call an exclusive conversation with the director of the East South Housing, along with his attorney, Mr. Gums. So before we get into our usual plays and commercials and all that good stuff, we're going to forego all of that this evening. We are focusing on the issue at hand. So without any further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Azad Gums and Mr. Singh to tap their screen, open the mic. And I think I should start off with Mr. Gums giving his introduction, a synopsis of who he is, and then Mr. Singh. So, Brother Gums?
Yes, I want to say thank you for reaching out and for the opportunity. I wish to those listening, are here. And as indicated, I represent East Coast Housing Development Limited. And I want to clearly explain, based on my client's instruction, what the case is about. In 2023, my client entered an agreement with the government and the National Housing Corporation to build 2,400 affordable smart homes. My client says it moved forward because it was assured that the government would provide the land, the necessary approvals, and the financial support to help the project succeed. My client also advises that it invested a significant amount of money, built model homes, arranged financing, and took other steps to start the project. However, my client's position is that the project could not move ahead because the land, the approvals, and the government guarantee that were promised were not provided. My client further says that instead of fixing these issues, the government later attempted to end the agreement. As a result, my client is asking the court to cancel the agreement and to award damages for the loss it suffers or the loss that it says, meaning the client says it has suffered. The claim includes allegations of misrepresentation, improper actions by public officials, and financial and reputational harm. These proceedings have been filed so the court can determine the rights of the parties and provide whatever relief it considers appropriate based on the evidence.
Thank you, Brother Gums. Mr. Singh, could you tap your screen, open your mic, and give a quick synopsis of who you are?
Good afternoon to one and all. My name is Brian Singh. I'm the Executive Chairman of East Coast Housing Development.
Okay, that was simple. All right, Brother Singh, I'm going to get into straight into the matter here because there are folks online and they're hungry to hear what we're discussing this evening. I basically learned of you, Mr. Singh, via a press conference. This press conference took place, I think it's sometime back last year, with the Prime Minister and the Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Handley, where you presented whatever contract you guys wrote. So, through you, Mr. Gums, if you could open your mic. Through you, I would like to ask your client
Yes,
a few questions for the citizens of the Federation.
that is no problem. Go ahead.
Okay. The first question I want to ask is the foundation and motive for the claim. It's clear to go through that?
Yes, you may go through.
Yeah, Mr. Singh.
So, well, but what is the question?
The question specifically is what specific action or decision by the government affected your client to the point where he felt legal intervention is necessary or was necessary?
Okay. Mr. Singh may answer that question.
Sure. We attempted to follow the contract, but we were faced with the two parties who are willing to respond to our communication or even to honor the basic request for disclosure of relevant documents. However, it was discovered, it was the discovery that fraud was committed that prompted this decision.
Okay. A follow-up question is, before filing the claim, did you try to resolve this issue outside of court, and what happened?
Yes, good question. As I've said before, we did follow the contract in terms of the resolution process, but those efforts were crippled by the refusal of the said two parties to disclose any of the requested documentations, some of which, they seem to be relying on to pursue their course of action. In other words, for example, they took steps based on, say, X, but when we requested a copy of X, they refused to give it. As I indicated, I have indicated, the discovery of the fraud committed on the part of senior government officials left us with little options.
Okay, the word fraud, I am very interested in that word. We're going to get back to that because that is my observation over the past years that I have been basically observing the actions of this administration. That for full disclosure, I am one of the big campaigners that campaign to put this government there. So the questions I am asking you this afternoon, I don't want you to run away from them, answer them directly, because I am here to present the facts to the viewers online. So,
and I'll be only too willing to do that.
Thank you, sir. So we're on the same page. Question 3. Why did you choose Mr. Gumbs as your attorney, despite his role as the deputy leader of PAM, the People's Action Movement, the opposition political party in our federation?
When I heard the question the first time, I thought it was a trick question, but I realized it was a real question. So I like you said, the facts in law, they say facts relevant to the facts in issue, and this is what I have to let you know. Our choice of counsel was not political. I want to repeat that. Our choice of counsel was not political. It was strictly based on competence, knowledge of the law, and professionalism at the highest core. We made that decision after careful and precise consideration of all concerns that we had. As a matter of fact, Mr. Gumbs wasn't chosen directly or indirectly. We went through the process of several attorneys on the island. And because of his core competencies, our board made that decision. It was a collective decision and not a one-man decision.
Okay, thanks. So what qualities in Mr. Gumbs gave you and your team the confidence that he was the right person to represent you in this matter of this seriousness?
Well, like I said, we made that decision after careful and precise consideration of all the concerns that we had. And our choice of counsel was not political. It was strictly based on competence, knowledge of the law, professionalism at its highest core. We interviewed several prominent attorneys in St. Kitts. And I want to repeat again, we interviewed several prominent attorneys in St. Kitts. We wouldn't call names at this time. And 99% of them, although after reviewing our documents over a couple of days, and the evidence that we produced and agreeing, they all agreed we had a good chance of success.
Okay,
however, they were scared of going up against the government because most of them have received, they mentioned this to us, that they had received briefs from government in the past and at present, and were very scared of losing those briefs. At the same time, those who were not getting any briefs at all, they felt that they will know that if they appear on record for us, they would not be considered for any briefs from government in the future, and they will be blacklisted. As a result, they backed off. Mr. Gumbs was the only attorney on the island who was fearless. Where we sat and we investigated as regards to who was the best. We just didn't go and make a decision just like that. And having spoken to a lot of people, eminent jurists, not just in St. Kitts, in the Caribbean, whether it be St. Lucia, Barbados, Antigua, St. Vincent, we realized that Mr. Gum, after he spoke to us, he was not afraid to represent us. And more so, we verily believe that he had the experience, the competence, the knowledge of law, and most of all, the testicular fortitude and the professionalism at the highest core with a reservation and compromise to represent us. And as a result, it was a collective decision by our board. So it wasn't me, myself as chairman alone. We wanted to get the best representation. And had we chosen someone else, it means to say that we would have not been able to reach far as we have presently because, like I said before, a lot of people were scared.
I do not know if your attorney would allow you to answer this question, but to Mr. Gums again to you. DJ Marisha is a private podcaster here, a registered media personnel in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. I have reached out to you to get some information to present the facts to the citizens of St. Kitts Nevis. Have any other media or news services reach out to you in this regard? Mr. Gums?
So yes, there are several persons who reached out to the client in order to get a statement from him. One being yourself, of course, having discussed it with him, he was okay to do so. And there are a number of interviews that would be set going forward.
So why DJ Marisha's platform was that lucky to get the first exclusive interview?
Well, Mr. Marisha, let me explain something how we operate. When we got all the requests, we had to do our due diligence of how the request could affect us and whether, most importantly for the board, whether the information that we are giving to the interviewer, whether they will be able to highlight exactly what we say factually and not edit what we were saying. And that was our main concern. I hold no brief for you. It's the first time I'm seeing you and having a discussion with you. And I feel very comfortable. And I expressed that in more ways than one to Council Gums. And when he came back to us, he didn't say yes right away. He came back to us and he said, what are your concerns? And we give him our concerns. He addressed it and said, go ahead, you have the green light. So we are comfortable. That's why we're here today. We believe that what we are saying to you is not going to doctor it, as they say in the Caribbean, internationally edited. But we are very comfortable and know that at the end of the day, this is not just a show. It is the show.
Thanks for your confidence in DJ Marisha. Now, another question: are you concerned about some individuals that may try to politicize this because who your lawyer is?
Well, we strongly believe that they're supposed to be in operation with the principle of separation of powers. The reality is that it doesn't matter who the lawyer is or could be, but the relevant facts and consequences, legal principles, that those remain the same. Because at the end of the day, like I said, we had to do our due diligence. There are people out there who will come across like a rose, smelling like a rose, but behind the rose is a bull in a china shop, and we were against that.
Got you. Well, Mr. Singh, my first real fight to try track you down was last Wednesday. Wednesday morning when I saw something on social media in regards to some seizure of your equipment. I guess one of our media outlets here had some copy of that document circulating, and everybody was going crazy that you have run away with the country's money and you cannot be found. I'm happy that I found you. Through your attorney, do you wish to speak on that matter?
Mr. Gums?
I think that's a fair question to ask. Yeah, I think that's one that you could respond to.
Well, the thing about this is that that incident, well, I should say incident, took place in July. Unfortunately, we were not served by the court. I'm sorry, by the bank. We will not serve with the documentation, but we, lo and behold, receive the judgment in receipt of what you see there. Through our attorney, I would suggest that he will continue from where I'm dropping off now on that matter.
Yeah, based on the instructions of Mr. Singh, there was a claim that was filed, and he has indicated that he was not served properly. He had not been given the documents, had seen the documents. As a result, there would have been a judgment in default of his non-response, and so that matter is being dealt with as we speak, or is to be dealt with.
Okay, thank you. Through your attorney again, Mr. Singh, there has been much talk over the past months by several media outlets in our beloved federation, and the Prime Minister himself and the Deputy Prime Minister has made some comments via their press conferences or roundtables in regards to the arrangement with East Coast. With no objection, there are two clips here actually that will say the same thing, but I would like to start with a clip with Dr. Hanley speaking about the status of the 2,400 smart homes which should be produced by your company. Through your attorney again, is it okay to play that clip?
Yes, it's okay to play the clip.
Okay, thanks. Stand by.
They are havens for families. They have been meticulously designed to withstand disasters, ensuring the safety of our residents. But that's not all. These homes also allow for expansion on the top, providing families with the flexibility to grow without hassle. As we hand over the keys to these smart homes, let us remember that this is not just about bricks and mortar. It is about creating a better future for our people. These homes represent our commitment, to progress, innovation, and well-being of our citizens.
As you know, as a country, we engage the East Coast Housing Development in assisting us in delivering some homes. Unfortunately, the 600 homes that we were anticipating, with all of the challenges that we might have been experiencing, not us so much as a government, but the investor, that has caused some delays. These matters are being worked on, and what I said to the Federation is that based on the contractual arrangement that we would have signed, the AG office, of course, is working on ensuring that the government's interest, which it is protected. But because of the delay, we have not lost any money as a government.
So, through your attorney, Mr. Singh, would you like to respond to that clip? Any matters that was presented here by the Deputy Prime Minister? Your mic is closed, by the way, Mr. Singh.
Can you advise our question there? So I wouldn't be a runaway horse.
Okay. The question is, the first part of the statement by the Deputy Prime Minister, I think is clear that the company was contracted to build some 2,400 smart homes, for 600 homes per year for 4 years. So that part I think is clear. You don't need to touch that. The second part of it is that the issues that the reason why these homes was not produced is not any fault of the government, and the government did not lose any money in the process.
Well, I want to answer the first part, and I'll give the counsel to answer the second part. The first part is that one of your questions said that they would talk from another radio talk show, whatever, that we took monies from the island and we run away. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Housing, he answered that question for us because he said the government didn't lose any money. And truth and fact, we are the one who put out all the funds to even start the model homes and do everything else. So there was no money lost by anyone, any member of the federation, including the government, and then that was part of the contract agreement. So,
And also, based on what my client has said to me and based on the claim that was filed, the claim is one simply of misrepresentation, whereby the client would have been induced into entering the contract with the government and NHC based on certain promises or assurances. Having entered that contract, having started the work, having done the necessary having done the necessary work to get the contract started, the client would have been placed in a very detrimental position. He indicated that monies would have been borrowed for the starting of the project, and when it was time for the government to honor its obligation based on the contract, that the government defaulted. Based on the claim, what East Coast has brought, East Coast has indicated that the project could not move ahead because of the lands. The lands were necessary for the houses to be built on, and there was need for approval, and the government had given the assurance that there would be government guarantee. I think Mr. Singh could speak to these aspects more as the person who has who has been affected. Mr. Singh, you could speak to the land, the approval, and the government guarantee as you indicated to me.
Okay, what was happening here is that according to our contract, and let's follow the contract because that is how we started to work. The government contract with us that they will provide 600 service lots per annum, per year, 600. Now, for those who might not be technically and engineering inclined, service lots, basically the contract was explained that lots of lights, water, and roads. That was a problem. We got the first set of land, and we had to actually supervise and assist the government in doing that, and that was not part of our contract. Yet still we did to show good faith. And then we were bullied into by officers of the government, and they did see that go ahead and pay for the lights and pay for the water, whatever have you. And we find that was wrong. The contract didn't say that. We have had challenges, and we were even told by senior government officials that when they did the infrastructure sites, cleared their sites, we found that it was not readily, or should I say, properly done. And I explained to them how it's supposed to be done. And I was told by the most senior officer at the time, that is how we do it in St. Kitts. I said, well, we can't operate like that because there's an international standard. And that started to create some problems because we realized that every site that they wanted to go on, we had to go and supervise, and that, like I said, was not our job. It was very difficult. As a matter of fact, the government guarantee, and also we supposed to have got the government guarantee 50 days after the contract was signed. We got it, the contract, when we got it 1 year after, we realized that it was not legally and properly done. And we only found out all this stuff on August this year, when we had asked for certain documentation from the AG's office, and he refused. In a letter, he refused to give it. So we decided through our attorney, Mr. Gomes, to try to get a copy of the documents on our own, which we did. And then we found out the massive fraud. And like they say, misfeasance in public office. That's what we found out, and we realized that we couldn't go further.
That seems to be a common practice under this Juliet Labour administration. I've spoken with other investors that run into the same problem.
DJ, I want to say that the thing about it is very unfortunate that you have senior government officials, some elected and some not, falsifying documents for a cause that does nothing good for the federation or the investor. I invested my money into the system, expecting the government to deliver. because in the contract had our duties and responsibilities and that of the government. So far, our documentation has shown that we have lived up to our expectations based on the contract, and the government is found wanted. I don't want to say anything more unless I get clearance from the from counsel. Like, the matter is sub judice before the court, and I'm guided by him.
Yeah, as indicated, the matter has been filed by me on behalf of East Coast. So the matter has been filed. It has a claim number. The Attorney General's office, based on the rules of the court, were given days to file a defense. They have not filed a defense. In fact, they have placed an application for stay proceedings for the matter to be heard via arbitration. The arbitration clause was in the contract, but we're saying, and it's for the court to determine going forward, we're saying that this is an issue of misrepresentation, and a misrepresentation void not only the contract, but every term within the contract, which would also void the term that would have been a part of the contract for arbitration. So that matter is before the court now. And so we have preliminary issues even before we go forward. And so this is where it's at. A hearing is supposed to be determined. I assume that it'll be sometime next year, considering that we're already in December, Christmas, and the court goes on break, and January would resume. Most of the dates for now have been already decided for this year, so I am thinking that it'll be sometime early in January.
To you, Mr. Gums, again, this is where this DJ has an issue with this Prime Minister, his administration, his members of cabinet, and the people around him that don't realize that what they're doing is going to damage this country for years to come, for future generation. Because the reality is here. What starts wrong in the morning can't come good evening. They came and they lied to the Federation. So, as I listen to Mr. Singh speaks and you, we are aware that by trying to get this matter go to arbitration, going to come to two things. One, the hope that the client, your client, would not be able to find the money to pay for that arbitration up front. That is one of the reasons. The other reason is to delay. There's an election that is looming. These things are going to be an effect during these elections. And I would hope that our citizens here in St. Kitts Nevis, regional and internationally, are paying attention. That people are hurting. The country is hurting. The country is under duress by these corrupt ministers that we elect, that this DJ tried to help to elect. So I am not going to be partial to the things that I say, speak plain. And that's why I asked the question of Mr. Singh Suyu, permission to speak plain and openly. So the next question is, the matter is in court. There's a number for that court case. Can that number be provided to the general public, or does it something private?
Well, it's a public document, but those persons who are parties to the claim and those persons who are dealing with the matter would know the claim number. It's not. I know that it's uploaded on the platform. It's a public document, but we have not circulated that document for obvious reasons. We know that me being a part of the matter and the position I hold as the deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, in fact, our party would have criticized the government on its non-performance, that being not being able to deliver its promise on the 2,400 homes. At that point in time, when I looked at the possibility of 2,400 homes in 5 years, I thought it improbable, because in my mind, I thought, does this government have the resources needed and necessary to undertake a project like that? Now, to see what has happened, that the client has engaged the government, or the government has engaged the client. There is a contractual agreement between both of them, whereby there seems to have been some inducement on the part of the government for this client to enter into this contract, and for the government not to honor its agreement, and for the government knowingly knew that they could not honor its agreement, and still allow the contract to go its way until, based on the client's own words, that they attempt to terminate the contract. And if you look at it, this government has been very silent as it relates to the East Coast arrangement. They have been very silent even after Dr. Hanley would have indicated that there would have been some issues with the contract. You never heard the government speak about it after that. In fact, that could suggest maybe that the government knows what it did based on the position of the client, that the government knows what it did and is therefore silent on the matter. Because if it were that Mr. Singh and East Coast had any wrongdoing, I would assume that the government would have already spoken and would have already highlighted to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis the wrongdoing by the client.
There are more questions unanswered, Mr. Gums. About maybe 2-3 months ago, I attended a town hall in my district here in St. Paul's, constituency 6, that Dr. Douglas and Dr. Clark represents. At that meeting was Dr. Douglas, Dr. Clark, and the Deputy Prime Minister, Jeffrey Handley. I went there specifically to get some clarity on this smart home situation, because it was the hot topic in the Federation.
Yes.
And I asked the question out to Dr. Handley direct, the status of those homes, because of everything that was taking place. I got a clip and I'll drop it in a bit, whether you guys want to comment on it or not. It's similar to the other one, but it's just to give some backdrop on why I had to try and get this information, because I like to dig deep.
Yes.
Now, the Deputy Prime Minister, Jeffrey Handley, he was not prepared to answer my question. I wanted to know the status of the contract between the East Coast and the government, the status of the homes. Was the contract terminated? The talk on the street is that the individuals run away with the country's money, and they refuse to comment on it. All they want me to know is that the NHC is building homes, but no update on East Coast. So I am very much appreciative that you was able to reach out to the gentleman and he agreed to be here this evening, because at least the online viewers and the people with all of those questions could at least get a little glimpse of really what is going on. The corruption in our new Dr. Juled Labor administration, my good.
BJ, before you go on to the statement, you indicated something that really raised question in my mind, and something that I've always been thinking about is that you have a government that says that this individual is at fault, could not deliver, but makes no public statement as to how this individual has not delivered. I think the people have to question what is reasonable. Is it reasonable based on what you hear from this administration, this silence? Because we know that this administration has had a history of highlighting faults when they need to. And the fact that they have not publicly highlighted any fault other than the fact that the client could not deliver the homes, but without giving proper explanation, I think that's a red flag.
Serious red flag.
I want to add something, DJ. One of your questions initially was, you've been hearing a lot of talk around the island in relation to East Coast. You will, I hope you appreciate the fact that when the negative narrative was being bandied about as regards to what East Coast is not, for months upon months, we were silent because we realized it was just negative propaganda that was fed to the population by those who wanted it to be believed, and we stayed silent until now. In coming forward, based on the fact that we did file, if we were doing the same thing that Council Gums said, bumping our gums, as they will say, and just keep talking without doing something substantial for our claim, we wouldn't be no better than them. But Council Gums is right. We come out now and we, like they say in the Caribbean, put your money where your mouth is, and decide to do a file based on facts. So you can't just go to the court and say, DJ owed me some money because I lent him 5,000. Where's the evidence? We have provided all the necessary evidence based on our claim. And it's so unfortunate that, we sat silent. That was a board decision. Sat silent when the negatives were being bandied about in the Federation in relation to what we were not. And the people absorbed it like a sponge. Now that we have decided to go the correct way and not the propaganda way, we hope that the people could appreciate and absorb the sponge twice as much to know this is the facts. And as you rightly said, you have had experiences with the government. And this is not Mr. Gums taking something as a deputy political leader of PAM and saying, I have to get back at the government. This is his profession. And I want the population to note again, we interviewed, myself included as the head interviewer, most attorneys on the island. And it was very, very astonishing to hear that they would say, yes, it's a good claim, but what they were fearful about. And when you have, with permission of council, I will say this, when you have senior government officials, lying not just maybe to the court or lying generally to appease the population to cover their tracks, it's a real shame. Because we expended money. Coming back to where you said Dr. Hani couldn't answer your question, and now you would know from today why he could not. Not he didn't want to, because he could not answer your question. And the negative narrative that was being bandied about that we took the people's money. I want to make it lucidly clear: we accepted no money from anybody who wanted us to build homes. We did work for them on behalf of NHC that we wasn't supposed to do as regard to doing topography. And stuff like that, and that wasn't our job, free of charge. And I'm saying for NSC, they can maybe have to pay for it, NSC sometime. But at the end of the day, we did more than our contract did dictate of our duties and responsibilities. And who suffers at the end? Not the government. It's the people of the Federation suffers. And this is as a matter of fact, when we came in, government told us point blank, we have no money. And we said, no problem. We'll bring the money to start the work and we'll guide you. We'll guide you exactly how this will work. And it's a perfect match. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I believe, Almighty God sits and hears all that we say and do, and he'll be the judge.
In addition to that, I mean, ever since the statement would have been, addressed, and the intention was not to make any statements as to the proceedings as it relates to the court. In fact, I had filed those proceedings silently, and based on client lawyer confidentiality, had not made any person any wiser as to the matter that had been filed. I think the first time I would have issued a statement was on the request of the client, because there was a particular narrative going around and the client felt as though, well, enough is enough. Something need to be said, as the client's reputation would have been suffering some harm. I do know that there are persons out there who would have had even questions, why are you representing East Coast? Indicating that East Coast is a bunch of frauds. I said to those individuals, well, like any other person who comes to me, I will look at what they have to say. I will treat everyone the same. I will look at the evidence. And at the end of the day, if a claim is filed, it's for the court to determine the merits of the case. At the end of the day, litigants, they file claims, the claims come to the court, and the court makes a determination. the court comes up with a judgment, and it is either the court is going to agree with the side of Brian or agree with the side of the government and NHC at the end of the day. And so these matters are before the court. I believe that there is merit to the case, and it's for the court to decide. And so those persons, I know that they would have had questions and concerns, and so this interview is to address some of the concerns that those persons would have had.
And to just drop a little background on the situation, Mr. Gums, Mr. Singh, the first time I can recall seeing Mr. Singh, like I said, was at the press conference at the presentation of the start of those smart homes. And I was one of those individuals when the media was going crazy about the homes and they was too small, the rooms are too small and all of that good stuff. I don't just take people's word for stuff. I check for myself. I actually went across to Canary on 2 occasions while that one at Canary was being built. I understand there's a second one. I do not know where it's at. But
Taylor's development. Yeah.
Okay, I would have to try to find that one. But the point I'm trying to make is this. According to the Prime Minister, according to the Deputy Prime Minister, according to the AG, whatever arrangement that was entered into by East Coast and the government, there are going to be 2 samples homes that will be built. And if they are not satisfactory, the agreement will be ended. From the little that I know, the one over there in Canary, not only the house is completed, it was handed over to someone and someone lives there. I have not heard any complaint about that home from that person or anyone. I have not seen nothing in social media complaining about that home.
DJ, can I beg you to stick a pin?
Sure.
You would laugh at this. When we were building the homes, it was bandied about social media negatively that we were building paper homes. And it would be like 3 little pigs and it would blow away. And prior to they handed over, they had the open house. And a woman came to me. I said this at the opening. She said, Mr. Singh, I want to tell you something. I came here because I was sent here. I wouldn't call names of the politicians. I was sent here by 2 individuals because I heard that the walls were paper. I said, sure. She said, I want to see. And she raised her fist to pound the walls. And I said, no, stop. Don't use your hands because you will smash it through. Use your head, your forehead. Because you said it's paper and you came here with that conviction. So she banged her head on the wall. It didn't go through. Her head was swollen. I said, do you want me to call an ambulance? So that is the type of propaganda was flying around. And then they said, when there was the talk about the storm coming in, everybody said, this is it. The 3 little pigs in the blow away. We had storms, we had some flash floodings and whatever in St. Kitts. To date, and you're right, to date, the house has able to withstand the test of time. At the same time, you talk about the size, the rooms too small or whatever. I increased the size of the homes, the model homes, and the other homes with no additional cost to the government or the homeowner. When the home was to be built, you get fridge and stove and whatever have you, free of charge. What you all don't know, I furnished the house, fully furnished the house for the individuals, free of charge. No fame come to me because I didn't want any. At the end of the day, you rightly said it, the house will stand the test of times. The naysayers was a problem. I just want to add something. I told Mr. Gomez this in a joke. When we were building Connery, there was a contractor on board. And I don't supervise the job. I have my engineers. And one of the engineers told me, there are 3 guys who want to speak with you right away. I came on site to visit. And when I went on site, they said, sir, excuse me, can we have a word with you? I said, yes. They said, listen, do not try to come into St. Kitts and change our work culture. I said, what? What am I doing? They said, we are accustomed working 3.5 hours per day and getting paid for 8 hours. So follow us or leave. I laid the complaint to the right quarters. And I was told also If the locals, and that's why there was a delay in finishing the model homes on time. The powers that be at the highest level said, if the locals don't want to work, at least the model house, bring in your people until we can have a chat with them. So I just let you know there were challenges, but I overcome all the challenges as I was there. And to the people that talk about the houses now, you see, when I shut them up with the paper house and I shut them out with the quality, there was nothing else to say. Now, then the third thing was, you have no money, or you can't do the work or whatever have you. You know the narrative, the negative narrative. Now that we have come forward with facts through our learned attorney, you will find that somebody either, I will say SHUTUP, or they'll come another false narrative. Or we are not going to wash our dirty linen in public like they would do. We will go to the court and let the court decide what Mr. Gums said. And I'm very confident in Mr. Gums' ability to handle our matter. Hence the reason why we made a collective decision by the board after interviewing about 7 or 8 persons. And we'll let the court and God decide. But we didn't have it easy. Trust me.
I can imagine. Trust me. I was in the belly of the beast and I didn't have it easy, and I had to put country above self while I'm still sitting here. And I was reading something someone sent to me this morning, and I laughed to myself. They said the person that we celebrate as the king today was brutally killed, executed, but he rose in 3 days, and we're now celebrating him and a Sunday by all weekend and every religion. So I am one of those individuals that was brutally wounded for trying to get the government to do the right thing. So another concern that the citizens have on the street, and I'm asking you these questions not for the DJ, but just to clear the air in the general public, is that contractors, there are many contractors on the island, electrician, plumbers, whatever. And during those times, at the start of these smart homes, there was complaint about how you get this contract, what connection you had, you got connection to the AG, all kind of rumors. Through your attorney, if you wish to just clear up some of those rumors, I think that will go a long way with the citizens at home here in St. Kitts, regionally.
Let me just add the first part. The council will take up the second part.
Okay.
When we were told that we have what you call truckers, and we have contractors and skilled workers. When we had after we had the meeting at the National Housing Corporation with the contractors, they understood the system and what we had. We agreed that all the contractors that was given to us, as I can say, by the NHC through the government. We interviewed them in relation to the equipment they had and the skill set and whatever, the workers, whatever. They said, we are ready. We're ready. We are skilled, we're ready. Our equipment is ready. And when we started, you had some people coming in when we started work from 7 to 4. Contractors with equipment were coming 9 and 10. And we asked them, what's going on? They said, well, we can't come. And I'm saying this not to put down anybody, but to for you, the population to understand the challenges we had with trying to work locally. And that we asked government, let us partner bringing some foreigners too. When they said, sir, I can't come to work for 9, I have to drop my children to school. We had no objection to that. Pay a driver, pay an operator, and send the equipment early. When they come to work at 9, 10, and they start to work, the equipment breaks down because they haven't been used for years. And they splatter more oil in the ground than in the engine. The engine was leaking. And then when they left to go and fix it, to repair it and come back, they came back the next day or 2 days after. So every time adds up. So that is some of the challenges we had. And then when they will go to complain to the political directorate that we don't want to hire them, we say it's not that. Fix your machines and then come. Hence the reason why I brought in machines with local operators to be hired to run the machines. And they were angry. We have machines, but nobody said that the machines were in roadworthy condition. Hence the reason why you didn't work anywhere. You get a certificate of, competence as the operator, and the equipment is roadworthy. We try to waive all that in St. Kitts, but you know, as a foreigner, you get the brunt of everything. Council, you want to elaborate?
Could you repeat the second question?
Actually, the first part of the question have not been answered as yet.
Mhm.
We have local contractors in our beloved federation. The concern amongst the community is how did Mr. Singh got such lucrative contract when there are local folks here who qualified and able to
All right,
do
I'll
it?
tell you why. We tendered for the contract, and then we were advised of a lot of other companies in the Caribbean tendered. We were the only company that provided in our contract that we said that we were funding the project. And we got a letter from our bankers identifying and corroborating that they were partnering with us to fund the project. Nobody else were able to get the letters from the bank, but they were talking, we have money. But they're like you say, put your money where your mouth is or shut up.
Okay. So the procurement process took place and you
Oh,
guys
yes,
happened to
yes,
be
yes.
one of the
Yes.
bidders. Okay.
For
That's what
those who have ears to hear, like my grandmother used to say, for those who have ears to hear, ICC, it was done. Procurement system was done.
Okay. So I think the second part of the question I stated is that it was bantered around in the community that you was chosen because you have connection with the Asian families or whatever. It was
For
something
the
like
80s
that.
wife is Trinidadian, but we're not related.
Okay.
I have no connection with the government by bloodline or friendship previously with anybody in the government of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Prior to coming to St. Kitts and getting this contract, do you know the Asia, his wife?
No, up to today, I don't know her.
Okay. I just want to clear up that for the
Well, I have no
naysayers.
problem, sir. You can ask me any question.
I just want to clear up that.
I will answer accordingly.
Brother Gums, in
Yes.
light of the conversation we just have, I think it's best that I play this other clip and then we could have whatever other conversation and wrap it up because I have to say to you and your client, I told you guys I just want a 15 minutes, half an hour tops interview and we are here an hour already. So
Yeah, but you didn't say what currency, US or EC.
oh, I think
Don't blame Council Guns. I will defend him also.
well, I think it's Trini currency because we have gone over an hour already. So let me drop this clip.
Okay.
This is, by the way, the Straight Talk program with Ian Patches Libel.
Useful in small things. What about big things? The parliament passed a resolution to guarantee US $10 million on behalf of the National Housing Corporation for the construction of 2,400 houses. My Straight Talk family. They passed this resolution in the parliament. Remember that resolution, my Straight Talk family. And page 2 of the resolution is pellucid. My Straight Talk family. It says that now therefore be it resolved by the National Assembly of St. Christopher and Nevis that the government hereby guarantees a sum of $10,260,000 United States dollars, my Straight Talk family, representing a guarantee of the sums to be contractually payable by the National Housing Corporation to East Coast Housing to construct the first phase of climate smart homes on lands owned by resident landowners of St. Kitts who have been approved by the National Housing Corporation. And this was approved by the National Assembly on the 14th day of June 2024. Garth Lucifer Wilkin, my Straight Talk family, told the country that if upon the completion of 2 model homes and they are found to be unsatisfactory, then the contract ends.
So let me stop that there for a bit. Back to the top of the conversation we had earlier. It should have been 2,400 homes, 6 100 homes per year. When was that supposed to start from, the area? What year?
2023.
2023. So we are now in 2025. So we should have been seeing about, at the end of
1,200.
this, about 1,200 homes now.
Yes.
Well, like the song that I started the program with said that we still ain't see cement touching black as yet. So any comment on that?
We answered your question, but we will do it again.
That's all I like to
In
do.
the claim in court, that was answered. Counsel,
Yes. Well, Mr. Singh could respond to that because there was in the claim about the guarantee, and in his evidence that he has put before, that he has, it questions, or he questions the legality of it, to say it to say it in its simplest terms. Mr. Singh, you could perhaps
without
give
saying
just a
too much,
little.
I don't know. I seek your guidance, and I will say this little. According to the contract, the guarantee was supposed to have been delivered to us. The guarantee, which is 25% of the full $228 million US, which is 56,947,000, supposed to deliver to us in 30 days. 30 days came and went, and we did not get the guarantee. And then they came, and then they did send a guarantee to us, and then we realized the guarantee, it's really in August, we realized the guarantee was fraudulent. And then they came back to us and asked us if you could, they were having challenges getting it approved in the National Assembly, and wanted to go down to 25% of the first phase. The documentation speaks of it. I don't have it in front of me in relation to what we're claiming. And what we are saying that the government didn't even deliver on that as per what they said it was going to do. But I just want to digress a bit. I've had history with Mr. Patches Blyberg, and maybe for another forum. But he shouldn't talk about. He shouldn't talk in relation to not being able to deliver, because most politicians, I'm making a general statement now, most corrupted politicians, and I say this with the exception of Mr. Gums, who I know very well, most corrupted politicians don't do anything without getting anything. And I say that based on the last clip you played. And there are a lot of projects that was supposed to have been given during the tenure of your friend that you played earlier, and demands that were made that I walked away from. And if he wants to go head to head, I have no problem, but I am not here for that. But when you know, what they say, when you have cocoa in the sun,
look out for rain.
Look out for rain. Make sure your roof is leak proof. And I say to my good friend, be careful of misusing your program to create an impression to appear that you are squeaky clean.
Point taken.
Just let me add.
Okay.
East Coast at all material times did every single thing that, based on their duties and responsibilities, that was dictated in the contract to the people and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. And at no time did we falter where that was concerned. And according to our council, eminent council, we'll have God's willing, we have our day in court and everything will come out. But one of the concerns is, why try, when we made a claim, why try to have our claim stayed and not respond to it? That's what we're saying. If you are honest in your dealings and you have no cocoa in the sun, as we say, why request a stay? Let's deal with the matter at hand. So let the population know, hey, your grandmother used to tell you, it's better to, sometimes, as we growing up, it's easier to get forgiveness and to get permission when you're going to do something wrong. Where I sit, I am saying it's better to apologize and move on than to stay silent and lie.
To get a clear local response to the situation at hand, the government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Joe and the Deputy Prime Minister who is responsible for housing, tried to give the narrative to our citizens home, St. Kitts Nevis, regional and internationally, that the impediment of these homes not being provided is no fault of the government. It is East Coast. My direct question to you is, you said in the contract, the government was supposed to provide the lands for these homes to be built.
Service lots. Land is not bare land. Service lots is important. I need to say this to the population because I'll tell you
service
why.
lots. Okay, explain what is service lots.
Right. Service lots is in other words, in internationally, they call it infrastructured lots. Service lots is another name, whereby the government, because I had asked them to if they want me to provide these service lots on the house, and said no, we will do these service lots, which means ensuring there's proper roads, not paved roads, proper lights, proper water. Lights and water for each lots. Road that could give you access to each lots. That is what they did not do and they failed to do.
Okay, so the government failed to provide you with the necessary infrastructure to put these homes down.
Yes, that's one.
So the citizens that the government wants to get upset at East Coast, the blame should be on the government.
Correct.
Okay.
Because Council, can I mention one of the fraudulent documents that we submitted?
Yeah, you may.
Right. DJ, when the government went to the National Assembly, they had to put a paper out to tell the National Assembly, we want this government guarantee approved. And why? It's like when you go to make a payment, you have to have an invoice or a purchase order to get the funds released. So they went to the government and said, we have a copy of the document we provided. They said, we, the National Assembly, we have given the East Coast 50 lots to start to work on. And we asked for the guarantee so that we could, which is part of the contract. What we are saying at the date and time, and even up to today, the 6th of the 12th, 2025, we have received no such 50 lots. So the 50 service lots that they alleged to the National Assembly that they gave us, that they signed off and sent, and we have in our possession by their signature, by the AG signature, the PM signature, is false. So we are saying that you're quite right. If the people want to believe, no matter what, they will believe what was told to them. But we were silent all the time. And so when they're silent, they believe the other side because they was not hearing from what we were saying, right? So we are saying that enough is enough. And we are telling the government, defend the claim that we put before you. Don't ask for a stay. Defend it. Because we know we have documentary evidence to refute it and for it to be said. Otherwise, misfeasance in public office is a serious offense. You cannot lie to the National Assembly with your signature. Mr. Combs, you want to add?
Well, I'll just say this, is that as the client has indicated, the client was induced to enter into this contract on the belief that the government would have been honest in its dealings to ensure that the contractual obligations were upheld. Based on the conduct and performance of the government, NHC, it seems as though they knowingly did not honor these obligations, and based on the claim that we presented, the claim that was presented, fraudulently did so. And so that matter is before the court as indicated. The Attorney General's office would have filed an application for a stay of proceedings, and we, since then, have made the necessary application in opposition for the court to determine.
Thank you. And, I am quite happy that through you, your client have decided to come to the general public, because I think the public have a right to the facts. Since our government took office, they continues. The first thing they went and did, they said, integrity in public life, good governance agenda, freedom of information. None of those things has been taking place. And until we have individual like you, Mr. Gums, and client like yours who are willing to come and speak to individual like me who don't really care whether they are happy with me or not, I am just here to bring the facts. It really doesn't matter to me. What I would ask you, Mr. Gums, is that, and I would keep them private, if there's documents pertaining to the conversation we are having that I can have to see for myself to go through, I would like to continue presenting updates on this case to the general public, because it is of importance that we keep the public informed of these bad actors. The Prime Minister liked to use the word bad actors, and like I tell him, while he was in Parliament speaking about bad actors, he know who was in his cabinet who are bad actors, and he have, instead of turn them around, they have turned him around and make him a bad actor as well. They're not good actors. All of them are bad actors. The PSs, the ministers of government. This country is in a mess because of our choices. Very bad choices. You know?
Well, I'll just say this. We'll have to consider that. One thing, when it came to this case, I never wanted it to be a political matter. In fact, as I said before, Mr. Singh would have approached me sometime, I think it was maybe to the ending of September, October, early October. The claim was filed. We're in December. Nothing was said. In fact, our party would have made statements on it. That being the non-performance of the administration, the Labour administration, in delivering those homes. It wasn't until September thereabout that I was contacted by Mr. Singh, either late September, very late September, early October. And even up to very recently, I had not made mention to anybody, even within my own party, about the conversations between Mr. Singh and I, based on client confidentiality and the fact that I am an attorney. There are going to be matters that come before me, and I have to ensure that I deal with it with the utmost professionalism. Client confidentiality is something that is very important, and as an attorney, that should be safeguarded. And even being, one within the political realm, I try to discharge my obligations as an attorney as best as possible. That being said, we do have to discuss the case. We do have to see how it goes. It is a matter of public interest in the fact that you have Mr. Singh, who was contracted to do work on behalf of the government for the best interest of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, in that providing housing for our people. I don't want to make any promises yet as to the time we could disclose such documents. Be rest assured that they are documents, and documents have been presented to the court as it is. But I would like to at least have a first hearing before the court on the matter as it relates to the stay of proceedings, before we even go in and share documents to that nature, as right now, at least based on my own judgment as it stands now on this day. I think Mr. Singh has provided enough information, though, that could be used. And I think he has provided enough information that the general public can be aware of what is actually going on, what has taken place between himself and the administration, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the NHC. I think based on what has been said today, I think persons are in a much clearer vantage point of knowing the situation. Again, we'll keep abreast, and I would have to discuss and think over in my head in terms of the sharing of any documents as yet, because I want the matter to be heard in court. I want it to be discussed on its merits, and I would like the court to make a judgment on the merit of the case.
I
Of
appreciate
course.
that. I appreciate that. And as a matter of fact, while you were speaking, I did not want to interrupt you, but I just wanted to play the second part of this clip, and then we could have a closing.
Yeah.
Because
DJ,
as
before
it-
you play that, I just
Yeah.
want two things that I wanted to mention before I forget again. You mentioned the size of the house, the rooms are very small. I just want to go on record that the size has increased at no additional cost to the homeowner. We went from 1,200 square feet for the 3-bedroom to 1,288. We went from 862 to 879 for the 2-bedroom, and the 1-bedroom 450 to 592. At the same time, I just want to mention when it was bandied about that East Coast could never build 600 homes in 1 year. I was like, why would they say something like that they didn't know? I didn't realize that they were really trying to warn me or tell me that I couldn't do it, not because of my ability, it's because I could not get the 600 service lots from the government. So I feel exonerated from the negatives that pass over my head. But go ahead, continue.
Brian said that, I must say, looking back at it, when I had heard about the 600 per year, I too was skeptical, because we have projects, NHC have done projects, and persons are still without proper infrastructure in these projects. Looking at the number of homes that were built, and looking at what the government attempted to do, I looked at whether or not the resources were available by the state to really go through with whatever was proposed, even without looking at the contract. There were red flags in my mind, and I would have made mention of those red flags politically, but then looking at it through another lens, legally, I said to myself, maybe I'm not so crazy after all.
Well, let me just add to that. That the thing about is that we got approval to bring half of the workforce from China, which would have been working 24/7. So we were quite certain, based on the other areas that we did work, we could deliver 50 houses a month, or 600 a year. We were quite comfortable with that. But like I said, it's like that's what we call it, the housing revolution, because it's something that you have never seen before. But all in all, I say, DJ, thank you very much for the opportunity. But go ahead and play a clip now.
Mr. Singh, it seemed like you're reading my mind, because my next conversation would have been about the two words that was bantered about by the Prime Minister and his deputy, is that revolutionary project. The homes was revolutionary. That was something that was pushed. And I am still waiting to see that revolutionary project. The second part to it was smart homes. What's so smart about these homes? Could you explain?
If we give away our secrets in the air, people who listen to this international Caribbean will be able to know my trade secret. I can whisper in your ear, but I will leave it out.
Okay,
No.
Mr. Singh, I need to know.
We were offering a free stove and a fridge.
Okay.
And a stop water heater.
And that make the home smart.
No, among other things.
Okay.
Like I said, what did I'll tell you?
Mr. Singh, I just want you to know, I am an electrician by trade.
Oh, thank you for saying that. One thing, we had a lot of electricians and plumbers who say they were tradesmen. Those without certificates were very experienced, and those who came to us with certificates and say, I have my business license, whatever, they were the worst that we ever encountered, and we had to clean up a lot of mess. even in our 2 model homes, without calling names, of the electricians who had 5 and 6 certificates and against those who had none, who were working wonderfully. If you go now and talk to Ms. Buchanan from Taylor's who got that at the house, she will let you know that even after we built the house, we still checked in with her. Any shortcomings that was there at all, for whatever reason, if there were any, I made sure it happened. I got it back up to mark or whatever, but we had no major problems. Even Connery, no major problems, none whatsoever. Everybody was looking at the roof. It will fall apart when the storm came. But I thank Almighty God. We did as we promised. Our word is our bond. Sorry to keep you back from playing your clip.
No, well, I just want to make a comment that when I was speaking about smart homes, technically, we know what smart television, smartphone, and everything that is smart. We know what it is for today. And as an electrician, I have done Gendy system in Connecticut for people like Boom Boom Mancini, Diana Ross, and those summer homes. In the Manhattan area and in the New Jersey and Long Island areas, where those millionaires love those gadgets, I had the opportunity to wire homes where we have one master switch in the master bedroom, but individual switch around the home. You could either turn them on or off individually, or you can just, if you hear somebody out in your yard and you want to scare them away, just hit the master switch. All your lights throughout the entire home, in and out, comes on. So I have installed these systems. So those things I know to me are considered to be smart devices. But I look at the house in Canary. I don't see nothing smart about it yet. So when we see each other, if we do ever see each other, I would like you to tell me what is smart about these homes.
I will.
My definition of smart, just like the smart hospital that ain't coming, ain't nothing that I see.
Right. And another smart thing is that you could operate your lights and your stuff from your phone.
Correct. All of that stuff.
Having said that, you could imagine what I was coming with next, but when I meet you, I will tell you.
All right, sir. So let's drop this final clip. And again, I appreciate the conversation, and I'm pretty sure the folks online now have a better understanding and will appreciate the fact that you came to the public. This was
thanks to you. Needed. Thanks to Mr. Guns.
Yeah, stand by.
The country is unaware if the contract ended, as Brian Singh, the managing director of East Coast Housing Development, has disappeared. And the slow student Jeffrey Hanley, my Straight Talk family, the slow student Jeffrey Hanley has told us that the government has lost no money, but the Attorney General will explain. Garth Lucifer Wilkin was present when the 2 model homes were allocated. Straight Talk therefore asks the Attorney General Garth Lucifer Wilkin these simple questions. 1. Was the contract with East Coast Housing Development ended by government? And we know a contract was signed. The slow student told us this about the contract.
Good day, citizens and residents. I am taking the opportunity to address the nation on the government of St. Kitts and Nevis progress in providing affordable home owners solutions. As a government, we believe that it is critically important for our citizens and residents to become home owners, and as such, has made it a top priority to create affordable housing solutions that will meet the ever-growing housing demand. Today, as the Minister responsible for Housing and Human Settlement, I am pleased to formally announce that the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and National Housing Corporation NHC has signed a contract with East Coast Housing Development, a Trinidadian-based developer, to finance and deliver 2,400 affordable smart homes over a period of 4 years, 600 of which will be made available each year. EC's $600 million has been sourced by this developer to fund the project, and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis through NHC will facilitate the development and be the point of access for the citizens who are interested in procuring a smart home.
And yes, my Street Talk family, that leads to the second question. Where is the missing US $10,260,000? Where has it gone? Was that money stolen? And if so, by whom? There's a resolution, my Street Talk family, approved by the Parliament. But Garth Lucifer Wilkin, my Street Talk family, in conclusion, has used his office to advance a political agenda rather than serving the public interest.
So that's the end of that final clip. Your response, through Mr. Gums, to that regard?
Yeah, well, I think Mr. Singh could address that. That's something within his knowledge.
Well, the point is, that's a nonsensical question for me, because there's no money expended to the East Coast from the government. That was a government guarantee. The government guarantee is still there. The government guarantee was not turned into cash for me. But personally, what I'm saying is that he's asking, where is the 10.2 million? He needs to answer his own question or ask another question. That's a nonsensical question, because no money is missing. There's no money missing. No money was given by the government. Let me explain to you this government guarantee. And apparently he's maybe he is not accountantly or economically inclined. The government put that guarantee out that any government in any country, if an investor comes in, they'll do that. But in this instance, where the housing were concerned, there were people who were pre-approved by the banks and credit union, and they will come with the NHC with the approval. And these are the people we will be building houses for. So we will know exactly who we build houses for. They were already pre-qualified. So when the houses was completed and we give them a completion certificate, they'll go to the bank and get a check, give it to the NHC and give it to us. So the government guarantee, based on how the proposal was done, the contract was done, and I am one of the authors of that. There was no money to be taken from the government guarantee to the developer. The developer was being paid by the homeowners who were pre-qualified. I am not going into detail of how it was done. That's like my trade secret. I brought that into the government as part of my housing proposal. It was my template. It worked well. So for Mr. Patch's information, so sometimes when we get older, we need to be reschooled or retooled, as they must say. So sometimes I get to understand that when you go to different islands, that some islands, I'm speaking generally, propaganda is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But as we go older, we must try to live an honest life and stop the propaganda. Get your facts, like Mr. Gums will tell me in more ways than one, that you cannot go to court in propaganda. It's hearsay evidence. If you can't give the judge factual information as evidence, leave the court or you'll be in contempt. Unfortunately, we don't have that type of redress from Mr.
Well, gentlemen, that was.
Thank you again, DJ, for playing it out and for us now, and I'm happy. I'll tell you why. Now more than ever, I am convinced that on the guidance of Mr. Gums, that yours was the right program to release the factual information where this entire program, the project was concerned. And for those, as we always say in the Caribbean, those who will hear, those I will see, and those who understand will appreciate.
Yeah. Well, as I said earlier, and I'm going to repeat it in my closing, that the information that was presented here this afternoon cleared up a lot of things for me myself. I'm now in a better position, have the tools to respond to those propagandas out there. So Brother Gums, through you and Mr. Singh, you guys can do your closing. I'm going to just drop my closing song as usual and out of here because this podcast I know will go viral this evening.
Well, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here to speak to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and to represent my client. And, you know, I take being a lawyer, I don't take it lightly. We have a duty to ensure that we are honest, transparent, and accountable, and that we do what we can to be officers of the court. So, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, Brother Singh.
DJ, my heartfelt thanks and appreciation. I want to thank Mr. Gums first for allowing me, through him, to be on your program, to educate the people of the Federation on the facts, as it were, and not to go to bed tonight with the propaganda that they heard before. But these are the facts, as it were. Mr. Gums, I can't thank you enough. I think on behalf of the Board of East Coast Housing Development, I want to thank you. And I want to say thank you in the sense that we made the right choice in choosing the right attorney to represent us. It's not that we came to you and said, see what you could do. You took the documentation, you analyzed it like everybody else. But like I said, you were the fearless one. You were the professional and said, listen, notwithstanding, I'm telling you, you came to be not cap in hand, but you had documentary evidence to back up your claim. And we are glad that you took us on and moving forward. DJ, it's a pleasure being on your program. And I want to say to the Federation, let's change. 2026 is coming. Let's change our mindset and no longer want to be fed and accept mediocrity, propaganda as lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And in 2026, let us live in harmony with factual information so we can sleep a little better. I have lots of friends in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they know me who I am. And at the end of the day, I want to give Almighty God thanks and praise for reaching this far. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. As my good people online viewers are going to drop the unofficial closing anthem of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. This song is called Arise by the late great King Arrow. So Brother Singh and Brother Gums, thanks again. I also want to thank the good people there at Island Purified Water, Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts, for keeping the DJ hydrated when he's in our beloved Federation. Want to big up the man Scatter, Brother Powell. Continue to keep the flames burning in the water business, my brother. Love every time.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration. Building a brand new nation, we'll move on together. correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in disharmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct all mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that comes to the end of yet another successful podcast here. My guest, attorney Mr. Azad Gums, and his client, Mr. Brian Singh, Director, East Coast Housing. And I'm going to drop just two clips here, and then I'm out of here, as I leave the rest to you, our citizens, to digest the conversation between myself, Brother Gums, and Mr. Singh.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, my good people, each and every Wednesday evening we're here, Facebook Live and our YouTube channel right after. Now let's take a quick listen to what Dr. Harris had to say about the DJ not too long ago.
In our audience today is DJ Marisha. I want you to give him a hand of welcome because PLP welcomes all. DJ would tell you that he has had some harsh words for me, but I never take that on. I listened. I accept his criticism, shook his hand several times, and I vow that I will do better. I want to thank him, though, for standing on principle. He, like several others, were fooled by Dr. Joe. They have come now to see him as the vindictive, selfish, arrogant, insecure leader that he had always been. So I say welcome to you, my brother and friend. We will not always agree, but I will always admire a man who put his country first. You will always stand tall in my book.
Yes, and that's a clip there from the man, Dr. Harris. Until such time, my good people, is love every time. Have a good evening, gentlemen.